Go! We clear? Move!
In the grand tapestry of interstellar warfare, where empires rise and fall on the tide of technological supremacy, one legend echoes across the void, whispered in the barracks of novice recruits and the war rooms of seasoned generals. It's the story of a single soldier, a phantom on the battlefield, a force of nature encased in steel and light. They call this soldier the Terra Cycler. Not a name given at birth, but one forged in the crucible of 100 battles, earned through an unparalleled ability to turn the enemy's fury into their own indomitable strength. Imagine a warfront. The air is thick with the scream of plasma bolts and the deafening crack of kinetic slugs. Most soldiers seek cover, their armor a last resort against the storm of destruction. But not the Terra Cycler. For this soldier, the heart of the firefight is not a place of peril, but a forge. Every impact, every searing blast of energy is not a threat, but a source of power. This is the fundamental principle of the Terra Cycler's combat doctrine: to absorb, to convert, and to return fire with overwhelming force. The genesis of this marvel lies in the suit itself, a masterpiece of materials science and energy physics. Its most distinctive feature is the layered honeycomb plating that covers the entire exoskeleton. This isn't just for show. Each hexagonal plate is a micro-scale kinetic energy converter. When a projectile, be it a simple bullet or a hypervelocity railgun slug, strikes the armor, the impact force doesn't just dent or ricochet. The energy is captured, channeled through a network of superconducting filaments woven into the suit's underlayer, and stored in a series of high-capacity capacitors integrated within the backplate. The practical application of this is staggering. A barrage of machine gun fire that would shred conventional armor instead charges the Terra Cycler's defensive systems. With each hit, the suit's energy reserves climb, feeding a powerful personal energy shield. This shield, invisible to the naked eye, shimmers into existence upon receiving a significant charge capable of deflecting subsequent attacks. It creates a paradoxical situation for the enemy. The more they shoot, the stronger the shield becomes. The soldier inside becomes a veritable fortress, a walking bastion that thrives under pressure. It's a strategy that turns conventional military tactics on their head. Suppression fire, a tool used to pin down enemies, becomes a gift of energy to the Terra Cycler. But kinetic energy is only half of the equation. In the far future, battlefields are just as likely to be dominated by directed energy weapons. Lasers, particle beams, and most commonly, plasma cannons. Against these, most armors melt, ablate, or simply fail. The Terra Cycler suit, however, treats plasma not as a weapon, but as ammunition. The outer layers of the armor are coated with a proprietary ceramic composite, designed to withstand extreme temperatures. But its true genius lies in the magnetic conduits embedded just beneath the surface. When a bolt of superheated plasma makes contact, these conduits activate, creating a containment field that ensnares the fiery projectile. Instead of dissipating its energy violently against the armor, the plasma is captured and rerouted. It's a process of absorption and redirection, a technological martial art. The captured energy is funneled down the arms of the suit, culminating in a pair of heavily modified wrist cannons. With a gesture, the Terra Cycler can then unleash this stolen power, not as a crude blast, but as a focused, coherent beam of energy, often more potent than the original shot. They are literally fighting fire with fire, the enemy's own fire. This unique combat style means the Terra Cycler excels in situations that would be a death sentence for any other infantry unit. Prolonged firefights. When a battle becomes a war of attrition, when supplies run low and ammunition is scarce, the Terra Cycler is just getting started. While other soldiers are counting their remaining clips, the Terra Cycler's power reserves are climbing. They become a self-sustaining engine of war, a perpetual motion machine on the battlefield. An enemy commander faces a terrible choice. Ignore the Terra Cycler and let them systematically dismantle their forces, or focus fire on them and risk supercharging their abilities to an unstoppable level. There are stories from the front lines, accounts from soldiers who have witnessed this firsthand. One particularly famous engagement on the shattered moon of Cygnus X1 saw a single Terra Cycler hold a strategic choke point against an entire armored platoon for 3 hours. The enemy poured everything they had: tank shells, repeater cannons, plasma volleys. And with every assault, the lone figure at the center of the storm grew brighter, the hum of their suit growing louder, their return fire more devastating. By the time reinforcements arrived, the choke point was littered with the smoking husks of enemy vehicles, and the Terra Cycler stood, fully charged, ready for more. And that sound, that is perhaps the most iconic and terrifying aspect of the Terra Cycler. As the suit's capacitors approach their maximum capacity, they begin to emit a distinct, low-frequency hum. It's a sound that starts subtly, a faint vibration in the air, but grows in pitch and intensity as the soldier absorbs more and more punishment. To their allies, it's a sound of hope, a signal that the tide is about to turn. But to their enemies, it is a death knell. A fully charged Terra Cycler, humming with stolen power, is one of the most formidable sights in modern warfare. This signature sound announces that the suit is at peak efficiency, its shields are at maximum strength, and its wrist cannons are brimming with redirected energy. When that hum reaches its crescendo, what follows is always a swift and decisive end to the engagement. The identity of the Terra Cycler, or if there is more than one, remains a closely guarded military secret. Some say it's a single legendary warrior who has undergone extensive cybernetic augmentation. Others believe it's a title passed down, a mantle worn by the most skilled soldiers of a generation, each equipped with this revolutionary suit. And some whisper that the Terra Cycler isn't a person at all, but a sophisticated AI seamlessly integrated with a human pilot, a true symbiosis of soldier and machine. Whatever the truth, the legend serves its purpose. It's a symbol of innovation, of turning a disadvantage into a decisive advantage. It represents the pinnacle of defensive technology repurposed for devastating offense. On the chaotic battlefields of the 23rd century, where new horrors and advanced weapons are unveiled with every conflict, the story of the Terra Cycler is a stark reminder that the greatest power doesn't always come from the biggest gun, but from the smartest armor. It's a testament to the idea that in the face of overwhelming fire, the best response is not to break, but to absorb, adapt, and overcome. The next time you hear stories from the front, listen for that hum. It's the sound of the future of warfare. Coming up next, it is a machine born of tactical genius and ruthless efficiency, a walking embodiment of area denial and calculated destruction. We call it the Claymore Strider, and today we will dissect this marvel of engineering, this master of the walking minefield. From a distance, its silhouette is deceptively simple, almost skeletal. The design philosophy is clear: function over form, lethality over aesthetics. Its grim, minimalist armor, composed of a classified ceramide alloy composite, isn't designed for grandstanding. It's built to absorb, deflect, and survive the very chaos it creates. Every plate is angled to maximize ricochet potential, every surface treated to minimize its thermal and radar signature. This is not a frontline brawler. It is a phantom, a ghost that seeds death and vanishes before the first detonation echoes across the battlefield. The true genius of the Claymore Strider lies not in its armor, but in its primary weapon system, the Scuttler Smart Mines. Forget everything you know about conventional landmines. These are not static dumb devices waiting for a misstep. Housed in specialized deployment pods along the Strider's chassis, each Scuttler is a semi-sentient hunter. Upon release, they don't just fall. They activate, unfurling small, multi-terrain legs and immediately beginning their crawl. They move with an unsettling insectoid purpose, seeking out optimal ambush locations, choke points, cover, and high-traffic routes. How do they know where to go? This is where the Strider's sophisticated sensor suite comes into play. Integrated deep within its core processing unit are advanced seismic sensors. These aren't just simple tremor detectors. They are capable of creating a detailed, three-dimensional map of subterranean vibrations, distinguishing between the lumbering gait of a heavy battle mech, the tread patterns of an armored column, and the frantic footsteps of infantry. The Strider doesn't just react to the enemy. It predicts their movements. It analyzes patrol patterns, anticipates flanking maneuvers, and projects the most likely paths of advance. This predictive data is then relayed to the Scuttler network. A mine deployed 100 meters away can receive a command to reposition, scuttling silently through rubble and dirt to intercept an enemy squad that hasn't even rounded the corner yet. The Strider can lay a complex, shifting, and intelligent minefield in minutes, turning a seemingly safe passage into an inescapable death trap. The psychological impact on enemy forces is devastating. Every shadow could hide a mine. Every piece of cover becomes suspect. The ground itself becomes the enemy. But what happens when the enemy closes the distance? What if a fast-moving scout or an airborne unit bypasses the minefield? The Claymore Strider is far from defenseless. Let's look at its legs. They are not just for locomotion. Heavily reinforced and featuring integrated blast dampers, these powerful limbs allow the Strider to walk through its own minefields, or even the enemy's, with near impunity. The explosive resistance is phenomenal, allowing it to withstand detonations that would cripple or destroy lesser mechs. This unique trait means it can use its own mines offensively, luring enemies into a field and then striding through the ensuing inferno to engage the survivors. And engage it does. For close quarters combat, the Strider is equipped with a weapon that is as brutal as it is effective, the thermal cleaver blade. Stored in a retracted state along its primary arm actuator, this massive blade can be superheated to thousands of degrees in seconds. Upon activation, it glows with an incandescent fury, capable of shearing through reinforced armor like a hot knife through butter. A single swing can sever a tank turret or slice a smaller mech in two. It is a terrifying last resort and a visceral statement that even at point-blank range, the Claymore Strider is the apex predator. Observing a Strider in a live combat zone is a lesson in patience and terror. It moves with a slow, deliberate confidence, its seismic sensors pulsing, painting a picture of the battlefield invisible to the naked eye. It will deploy its scuttlers, forming a perimeter. It will wait. It might reposition its mines half a dozen times, adapting to the enemy's shifting formations. The tension is palpable, then the first detonation, followed by a second and a third, a chain reaction of chaos orchestrated by a single grim machine. Enemy formations break, their advance stalls, and panic sets in. And through the smoke and fire, the Strider advances. Its reinforced legs absorb the concussive force of its own weapons. Its thermal cleaver ignites, ready to mop up any resistance foolish enough to have survived the initial onslaught. This is the doctrine of the Claymore Strider. Control the terrain, predict the enemy, and annihilate them with cold, calculated precision. It doesn't win battles through overwhelming firepower in the traditional sense. It wins by turning the very ground the enemy walks on into an instrument of their demise. The psychological warfare aspect cannot be overstated. Soldiers who have faced a Claymore Strider and survived speak of a constant, gnawing paranoia. The feeling of being hunted not by a single entity, but by the entire environment. The distinctive, low-frequency hum of its seismic sensors has been known to cause immediate morale collapse in seasoned veterans. To fight a Claymore Strider is to fight a ghost that has turned the world against you. From its grim, minimalist aesthetic to its terrifyingly intelligent weaponry, the Claymore Strider represents a paradigm shift in mechanized warfare. It is a testament to the idea that the most effective weapon is not always the one that makes the loudest noise, but the one that masterfully controls the space where the battle is fought. A walking minefield, a pathfinder of destruction, and an undisputed master of area denial. The Claymore Strider doesn't just walk the battlefield, it owns it. Next, we re-venturing into the frigid depths of frontline combat to analyze one of the United Defense Coalition's most formidable units, the Frostline Trooper. When the standard pulse rifle isn't enough, when overwhelming alien swarms threaten to breach our lines, Command unleashes the chilling might of these cryo combat specialists. Their very presence can turn the tide of battle, transforming a desperate defense into a frozen, silent victory. The story of the Frostline Trooper begins not on a battlefield, but in a bio-research lab. Early encounters with the Klaxian swarm revealed a critical vulnerability in our tactics. These relentless bioconstructs relied on hyper-aggressive melee charges, their chitinous armor deflecting standard kinetic and energy rounds with ease. Our soldiers were being overrun. We needed a new way to fight, a way to control the battlefield and halt the enemy in their tracks. The answer came from an unexpected field, cryogenics. Scientists discovered that rapid, localized temperature drops could make Klaxian biomass incredibly brittle and, more importantly, drastically slow its metabolic rate. The concept was proven. Now, it was up to military engineers to weaponize the cold itself. This was the birth of Project Deep Freeze, and its first graduate would be the Frostline Trooper. At the heart of the Frostline Trooper's arsenal is the Mark IV Glacier cryo rifle. This isn't a firearm in the traditional sense. It doesn't fire bullets. Instead, it projects a concentrated stream of supercooled liquid nitrogen mixed with a proprietary molecular decelerant agent. Upon contact with alien tissue, the effect is instantaneous and devastating. The targeted area experiences a thermal shock, dropping to near absolute zero in milliseconds. This doesn't just freeze the enemy. It fundamentally alters its biological structure. Muscle fibers become rigid, nerve impulses grind to a halt, and exothermic metabolisms are violently suppressed. A single, well-aimed burst from the Glacier rifle can encase a charging behemoth's leg in a sheath of ice, its momentum failing as its own body turns against it. For smaller swarm units, a sweeping spray can halt an entire wave, creating a frozen barricade of their own fallen comrades. The rifle is fed by a high-pressure line connected directly to the trooper's backpack, ensuring a steady supply of cryo coolant for sustained engagements. Early prototypes faced issues with nozzle icing and pressure drops, but the Mark IV features a self-heating coil system at the muzzle, ensuring a consistent and lethal stream of cold, no matter how heated the battle gets. But what happens when the enemy gets too close? The Frostline Trooper is a shock fighter, often deployed at the very apex of the conflict. Melee combat is not a possibility, it's an inevitability. To counter this, their armor is an active defense system. Integrated into the Chiramo titanium plating is a network of cryo-capillary conduits. When proximity sensors detect an imminent melee threat, the suit's core diverts a small amount of coolant from the backpack into this network. The outer surface of the armor instantly radiates an intense aura of cold, a phenomenon operators call a frost shield. Any alien attempting to grab or strike the trooper is met with debilitating freezer burn. Their limbs or appendages can literally become frozen to the trooper's armor, rendering them helpless. This system serves a dual purpose. It's a powerful deterrent, teaching swarm intelligence to keep its distance, and it provides precious seconds for the trooper to bring their primary weapon to bear or deploy a countermeasure. The sight of a Frostline Trooper, glowing with a frigid blue light as enemies recoil in pain, is a massive morale booster for nearby UDC forces. Control of the terrain is paramount in any battle. The Frostline Trooper excels at reshaping the battlefield to their advantage using M3 ice-slick grenades. These are not explosive devices. Upon impact, they detonate with a sharp crack, dispersing a fine aerosolized chemical accelerant and a small reservoir of liquid nitrogen. The chemical instantly bonds with the nitrogen and any moisture in the atmosphere or on the ground, creating an expansive, ultra-low friction surface in a wide radius. This sheet of impossibly smooth ice is a nightmare for charging alien swarms. Creatures that rely on speed and agility suddenly find their footing gone, skidding uncontrollably into each other, into walls or off ledges. A well-placed ice-slick grenade can break the momentum of an entire assault, turning a coordinated charge into a chaotic pileup. This creates perfect, stationary targets for the trooper and their squad mates. These grenades are also used strategically to cut off flanking routes, protect strategic retreats, or funnel enemies into prearranged kill zones. In urban or corridor combat, their effectiveness is multiplied tenfold, turning entire hallways into inescapable frozen traps. The appearance of a Frostline Trooper is as intimidating as their function. Their armor is not just painted blue, it's a living part of their cryo system. The plating is crisscrossed with what appear to be glowing frost veins. These are actually external conduits for the suit's secondary cooling system, which manages the intense heat generated by the trooper's own body and the suit's internal electronics. The glowing blue light is a byproduct of the coolant's chemical composition reacting with the conduit material. While visually striking, this has a practical purpose. The frost veins act as a visual diagnostic tool for the trooper and their squad. A steady, bright glow indicates optimal system performance. A flickering or dimming light can warn of low coolant levels or a potential system malfunction, allowing the trooper to address the issue before it becomes critical in combat. This design philosophy, blending form and function, makes the Frostline Trooper an icon of UDC military engineering, a symbol of cold, calculated power on the battlefield. All of this incredible technology is powered and sustained by the most critical piece of gear, the linked cooling backpack. This isn't just a tank of coolant. It's a miniature cryo plant. It houses the primary liquid nitrogen reservoir, a recycling and recompression unit, and a powerful fusion cell power source. The pack draws in ambient air, filters out moisture and impurities, and supercools it to replenish its reserves, significantly extending the trooper's operational time in the field. The most visible feature of the backpack is its constant exhaust. As the system works, it vents small clouds of vapor and superchilled air from ports on its upper section. This isn't just waste, it's a thermal signature. Friendly forces can easily identify a Frostline Trooper's position by this telltale plume of cold mist, even in the chaos of battle or through dense smoke. This signature, however, can also make them a priority target for intelligent adversaries. For this reason, the exhaust can be temporarily baffled for stealth operations, though this puts additional strain on the cooling system. The backpack is the lifeblood of the trooper, the engine that drives the frost, and the source of their chilling power. From the first experimental designs in Project Deep Freeze to the battle-hardened veterans on the front lines of the Andromeda campaign, the Frostline Trooper has proven to be one of humanity's most effective assets. They are the calm center of the storm, the bringers of a quiet, frozen end to our most ferocious enemies. They don't just kill the enemy. They control the very ground they walk on, turning alien aggression into a fatal weakness. Their presence on the battlefield is a declaration. Where the Frostline walks, the advance of the swarm freezes and shatters. They are Earth's cryo-combat shock fighters, and they are the reason many of our worlds remain free. From the forgotten foundries and rust-scarred plains of the old world, a new breed of warrior emerges, a ghost from a past where tribal fury met industrial might. They are the Thunderland skirmishers, masters of the hit and run, specters of the battlefield armed with a weapon that sings a song of thunder and lightning. Today, we journey into their world to dissect the art and science behind these formidable fighters and their signature weapon, the electromagnetic rail-javelin. The core of the skirmisher's arsenal is a marvel of salvage technology. It's not a gun, not a simple spear, but something far more terrifying. We call it the rail-javelin thrower. Imagine a weapon built around the principles of electromagnetic acceleration, a concept once reserved for starship cannons, now miniaturized and wielded by a single warrior. The weapon itself is a sleek, yet ruggedly constructed framework. It doesn't use gunpowder or chemical propellants. Instead, it harnesses raw electrical power, stored in high-capacity energy cells, scavenged from derelict machinery and retrofitted for combat. When the skirmisher is ready to strike, they chamber a specialized javelin, a dense metallic dart tipped with super-hardened alloys. With a press of a trigger, the energy cells discharge, surging power into a series of magnetic coils lining the weapon's barrel. These coils activate in a precise cascading sequence, creating a powerful, directional magnetic field that violently repels the javelin. The result? The javelin is launched at hypersonic speeds, far faster than any muscle-thrown spear, capable of punching through reinforced armor with a deafening crackle of displaced air. This is the thunder in their name, the sonic boom of their projectile breaking the sound barrier. But the weapon is only half the story. To truly understand the Thunderland skirmisher, we must look at the warrior themselves. Their combat doctrine is built entirely around speed and aggression. They are not frontline brutes who stand and trade blows. They are predators optimized for rapid, overwhelming strikes that leave their enemies reeling before they can even mount a defense. The skirmisher's assault begins with a sprint, their powerful legs eating up the terrain. They close the distance with shocking velocity, a blur of motion on the chaotic battlefield. Their goal is to get within optimal range, where their rail-javelin is most devastating. The attack itself is a fluid, brutal ballet. It's a rushing charge, but not a reckless one. Every movement is calculated to present the smallest possible target while lining up the perfect shot. They don't stop, aim, and fire. Instead, they fire on the move, a testament to their incredible skill and the unique symbiosis they share with their technology. This lightning-fast assault disorients opponents, shatters formations, and creates openings for follow-up attacks or a swift retreat. It's a combat style that embodies the principle of shock and awe on a personal, terrifying level. How do they achieve such pinpoint accuracy while moving at high speed? The secret lies in their arms. Woven into the very fabric of their armor, from shoulder to fingertip, are lines of microcoils, a less powerful but more precise version of the technology in their thrower. These coils are neurally linked to the skirmisher, responding to their biofeedback and muscle memory. As they prepare to throw, these coils generate a subtle, guiding magnetic field around their arm and the javelin itself. This field stabilizes the projectile's trajectory during the launch sequence, correcting for the jarring motions of a full sprint. It's like having a gyroscopic stabilizer built into their own body. This allows for an unparalleled level of precision. A skirmisher can thread a javelin through the viewport of a moving vehicle or hit a specific weak point in an enemy as armor, all while charging headlong into the fray. The coil-lined arms are not just a tool. They are an extension of the warrior's will, turning a chaotic charge into a perfectly aimed, lethal strike. It transforms the act of throwing from a simple physical motion into a refined, technologically assisted art form. The appearance of a Thunderland skirmisher is as unique as their fighting style. Their armor is a striking fusion of two disparate worlds. Look closely, and you'll see the heavy, functional plates of industrial salvage scoured steel from old bulkheads, composite ceramics from forgotten reactors, and reinforced polymers from transport chassis. These pieces provide crucial protection against enemy fire and the hazards of their own high-speed maneuvers. They are often scarred and dented, each mark a story of a battle survived. But interwoven with this industrial hardware are elements of a deep-seated tribal culture. You'll find intricate leatherwork, ceremonial carvings etched into the metal, and totems made from bone and wire. Furs and rugged textiles are used not just for insulation, but for camouflage and symbolic meaning. This isn't just decoration. It's an identity. It speaks of a people who have not forgotten their roots, who have adapted the cold, hard remnants of a fallen civilization and infused them with the spirit and ferocity of their ancestors. This tribal meets industrial aesthetic is a visual representation of their philosophy. Respect the past, but wield the future. It's a powerful statement on the battlefield, a declaration that they are the inheritors of both the old ways and the new technology. When you put all these elements together, the hypersonic weapon, the aggressive charge, the precision-guided throw, and the unique armor, you get a warrior perfectly suited for one specific role, the hit-and-run specialist. Skirmishers are the ultimate battlefield opportunists. They excel in chaotic, fluid engagements where mobility is key. Their strategy is simple and brutally effective. First, they strike from an unexpected vector, using their speed to bypass enemy defenses. The opening volley is a devastating barrage of rail-javelins aimed at high-value targets, commanders, heavy weapon emplacements, or vehicle weak points. The sheer speed and power of these projectiles create instant chaos and panic. But before the enemy can recover and retaliate, the skirmisher is already gone. They use the confusion they've created as cover for their withdrawal, melting back into the shadows or behind friendly lines, leaving behind a trail of destruction. They rearm, relocate, and prepare to strike again from a different angle. They never engage in a prolonged, static firefight. That's not their purpose. Their role is to bleed the enemy, to disrupt their plans, to be a constant, unpredictable threat that can never be pinned down. For any commander facing them, the Thunderland skirmisher is a nightmare, a phantom that strikes with the force of a thunderbolt and vanishes just as quickly. To truly appreciate the skirmisher, we must see them in their element. Imagine a dense urban ruin. A heavily armed patrol is moving cautiously down a rubble-strewn street. They are alert, weapons ready, but they are looking for a conventional threat. Suddenly, from a third-story window, a dark shape launches itself across the gap between buildings. It's a skirmisher. They land in a controlled roll, already bringing their rail thrower to bear. Before the patrol can even register the new threat, the air cracks. The first javelin punches through the chest plate of the point man. The second disables their squad's heavy weapon. The skirmisher doesn't linger. They are already sprinting, using the wreckage for cover, their form of fleeting shadow. The patrol opens fire, but they are shooting at echoes. By the time they reorganize, the skirmisher is 3 blocks away, scaling a skeletal skyscraper to find their next perch. This is their domain, the battle of movement, speed, and precision. They are not soldiers in a line. They are hunters on the prowl. The training for a Thunderland skirmisher is grueling and begins at a young age. It combines intense physical conditioning to withstand the G-forces of their high-speed charges with the mental discipline required to interface with their neural-linked armor. They spend years mastering the art of flow-state combat where thought and action become one, allowing them to make split-second calculations on the move. They learn to read the battlefield like a map, identifying ambush points, escape routes, and enemy vulnerabilities in a heartbeat. They are taught to maintain their scavenged equipment with religious devotion, for a malfunction in the field is a death sentence. This training forges a warrior who is not just strong and fast, but also intelligent, adaptable, and incredibly resilient. They are the living embodiment of their culture's survivalist ethos, a perfect synthesis of warrior tradition and technological pragmatism. The legacy of the Thunderland skirmisher is still being written on the battlefields of the New World. They are a testament to the ingenuity of those who live in the ruins of the past. They prove that true power doesn't always come from the biggest gun or the thickest armor, but from the mastery of a chosen craft. By combining ancestral ferocity with salvage technology, they have carved out a unique and deadly niche for themselves. They are the ghosts in the machine, the thunder that heralds the storm, and a chilling reminder that even in an age of advanced warfare, the heart of a hunter can be the most dangerous weapon of all. The next time you hear a sharp crack echo across the wastes, it might not be lightning. It might be the sound of the Thunderland skirmisher on the hunt. All right, let's venture into the desolate, unforgiving landscapes of the Outer Rim to examine a force forged in dust and fire, the Gravshir Rangers. When standard infantry stalls and armored divisions get bogged down, these are the specialists command sends in. Their official designation is Terrain Shredding Vanguard Elite, and in a few moments, you'll understand why that's not just a title, it's a promise. Operating where others can't is their specialty. Forget about smooth, paved battlefields. We're talking fractured canyons, shifting desert dunes, and jagged mountain ranges. This is the domain of the Ranger. Their unparalleled mobility in such extreme environments isn't magic. It's the result of some of the most advanced gravitational manipulation technology ever fielded. At the heart of their kit are the Mark IV grav boots. Now, these aren't your standard issue maglefs for city patrols. The boots of a Gravshir Ranger are weapons in themselves. Embedded within the solace are focused gravitational projectors. With a mental command, a Ranger can create a localized, high-intensity shear field directly beneath their feet. This field doesn't just push off the ground, it literally slices into it. Imagine running across loose gravel or a crumbling rock face. For a normal soldier, that's a recipe for a twisted ankle. For a Ranger, it's an opportunity. By shearing the top layer of terrain, they create a momentary solid-state friction point, launching themselves forward with explosive speed. This technique, known as terrain slicing, allows for rapid, unpredictable bursts of movement. They can dash up near vertical cliffs, execute instantaneous sideways dodges on shifting sands, and even break their momentum on a dime, turning a 100-kilometer-an-hour sprint into a dead stop, leaving their pursuers overshooting their position. It's a deadly dance of physics and destruction, and it makes them almost impossible to track, let alone hit. The distinctive scars they leave on the landscape long, shallow gouges in rock and fused sand, are the only evidence they were ever there. But mobility is only half the equation for a vanguard unit. You have to be able to hit hard when you arrive. Enter the Ranger's signature weapons, the twin grav axes. These aren't just sharpened pieces of metal. Each axe head is a sophisticated gravitational disruption emitter. When a Ranger swings, they're not just relying on brute force. As the axe nears its target, it projects a focused oscillating gravitational wave. This wave isn't designed to crush. It's designed to tear apart molecular bonds. The effect is devastating. Against standard vehicle armor, the axe doesn't just punch a hole. It causes the plating to delaminate and flake away as if it were made of brittle pastry. Against personal energy shields, the grav wave creates a harmonic dissonance that can overload the shield generator in a single strike. What makes the twin grav axes truly terrifying, however, is their synergy with the Ranger's mobility. A Ranger doesn't just stand and fight. They are a whirlwind of motion. Using their grav boots to launch into dizzying aerial maneuvers, they can bring their axes down from unexpected angles, bypassing an enemy's front-facing defenses entirely. A common tactic is the shear drop, where a Ranger uses their boots to launch themselves high into the air, only to disable the grav field and plummet down, using the axes to guide their descent and deliver a catastrophic blow to the top armor of a bay, tank, or walker, usually its weakest point. In close quarters, they spin and weave, using the axes not just for attack, but also for defense, creating micro-bursts of gravitational force to deflect incoming projectiles. They are a blur of motion and destruction, a nightmare for any entrenched enemy. Now, let's talk about battlefield control and survivability. In the open deserts and badlands where rangers thrive, cover is a luxury they often don't have. So they make their own. Another feature integrated into their suit is the ability to generate a localized repulsion field around their lower body. By kicking up loose soil, sand, or debris, and then activating this field, a ranger can create a dense, swirling cloud of particulate matter. This isn't just a simple smokescreen. This is what they call a dust cloud sprint. The cloud is thick enough to block most visual and thermal sensors, effectively rendering the ranger invisible to targeting systems. Inside this maelstrom, the ranger is king. They can reposition, flank, or set up an ambush, all while their enemies are firing blindly into a storm of their own making. More than just concealment, the repulsion field actively deflects smaller projectiles and shrapnel, adding a crucial layer of active protection. Seasoned rangers can even manipulate the shape and density of the cloud, creating feints and diversions to confuse and scatter enemy formations. An entire squad of Grav-Shear rangers executing a coordinated dust cloud assault is a sight to behold, a series of rolling, chaotic dust storms that sweep across the battlefield, leaving a trail of dismantled armor and broken lines in their wake. It's a testament to their philosophy. If the terrain doesn't give you an advantage, reshape it until it does. All this high-tech gear would be useless if the soldier inside couldn't handle the environment. The life of a ranger is spent in some of the harshest conditions imaginable. From the scorching sun of binary star systems to the freezing, windswept plains of ice planets, their gear is built to match. The helmet is a masterpiece of environmental engineering, featuring a multi-layered reactive visor. The outer layer is a polarized, photoreactive membrane that can instantly adjust to extreme glare, preventing the flash blindness that's common in desert warfare. It can filter out specific light frequencies, highlighting enemy energy signatures or heat blooms against a muted background. The next layer is an armored ballistic shield capable of stopping small arms fire and shrapnel. But the real innovation lies in the innermost layer, a dynamic augmented reality display. This isn't just a simple HUD. It integrates data from the suit's sensor suite, squad mates, and drone overwatch, projecting critical information directly onto the ranger's field of view. It highlights traversable paths, flags potential ambush points, and displays the structural integrity of enemy targets as they are struck by the grav axis. This constant stream of information allows a ranger to process the chaotic battlefield at incredible speeds, making split-second decisions that mean the difference between life and death. The suit's life support systems can recycle air and water for weeks, allowing for deep infiltration missions far behind enemy lines, completely cut off from support. The sum of these parts is a soldier who redefines the concept of all-terrain. Where a heavy tank would sink in the sand, a ranger glides over it. Where a standard infantryman would struggle to find a foothold on a cliff, a ranger sprints up its face. They are the ultimate expression of man-machine synergy, combining human ingenuity and reflexes with technology that warps the very laws of physics. Their training is grueling, with only a fraction of 1% of Special Forces candidates even qualifying for the program. They must master not just combat, but geology, physics, and advanced gravitational mechanics. To a ranger, the ground beneath their feet is not just a surface. It's a tool, a weapon, and an ally. Their operational history is filled with legendary, almost mythical accomplishments. There's the story of the Ghost of Cathar, a single ranger who single-handedly dismantled an entire artillery battalion by using a canyon system to appear and disappear, striking from impossible angles. Or the Sandstorm on Helios Prime, where a squad of 5 Rangers used a coordinated dust cloud assault to break the siege of a vital communications outpost, turning the tide of the entire campaign. These stories aren't exaggerations. They are the standard by which Gravshir Rangers are measured. They are not just soldiers. They are living forces of nature, shaping the battlefield to their will and leaving nothing but victory and scarred earth in their wake. They are, without a doubt, the true masters of rough terrain. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more content on military tech and tactics, and let us know in the comments which elite unit you'd like to see us cover next. Until then, stay curious,